Other bridges grew up down the river, allowing travellers to easily pass along the major routes, just like this one at Stratford. Over the smaller crossing points, it was actually ferries that moved people across. And over this stretch of river during the early 1900s, there were 10 ferries plying backwards and forwards across the river. Most ferries were little more than a punt, with a frame to one side for a cable that was strung across the river when no boats were passing. Foot ferries were an essential part of the river scene, allowing access between villages and the larger towns, and in the age before the motor car, saving a very long walk round to the nearest bridge. Most of the ferries have long gone, but a couple still remain. Hampton is a village just on the other side of the river from Evesham, and until the new bridge was built in 1928, the ferry was in constant use, cutting over 3 miles off the trip into town. It also became a tourist attraction for the Edwardians on railway day trips from the nearby cities. It still survives today, though it doesn't carry too many passengers, still tourists at the weekend, but it really survives as it serves a local caravan park on one side of the river and the car park on the other. In Stratford, another ferry still crosses the river, mostly for tourists visiting the various Shakespeare sites. Sam Gee is the ferryman.
Well, the ferry was built in 1937 in time for the coronation of King George VI. May the 10th it did its first trip. The coronation was May the 12th. It cost £160 and it took about 3 weeks to build it. It was paid for by the people that had just built their new theatre. Well, it was opened in 1932 and they didn't want a bridge to obstruct the view of the church from the theatre. It was free to start with until about 1952, 53. And little boys used to go on it all day, backwards and forwards, and refused to get off because it was free. So they put a penny charge on it. I know because I was one of the little boys that got chucked off. It went gradually, the price has gone up and up and up, needless to say, and today I'm afraid it's 50p, which is quite a lot of money to travel 156 feet, but never mind. It's ever so simple, there's not a lot to go wrong. It's just a chain going along underneath the water, and it's the same boat, well built.
It has to negotiate the other river traffic. Around here there used to be over 200 punts and rowing boats, and on a busy day it was almost possible to walk across the river by stepping on all the boats. Now only about 80 are left, but they still do a good trade in the summer. But like the ferry, after the schools have gone back at the beginning of September, the river gets much quieter and the ferry stops until the better weather in the spring.